Por el poder de Grayskull, yo tengo el poder. Hasta la próxima.
Solo unos cuantos conocen mi secreto. Entre ellos están Byron, Oscarito, el hijito de Oscarito y todos ustedes, nuestros amados eternianos. Juntos, mis amigos, los valientes rebeldes y yo, lucharemos por liberar a Eteria de las fuerzas malignas de Hordak.
Hola amigos, les saluda su amigo Hordak. Es un placer conocerlos, y a los que no había yo conocido, pero a ustedes, mis amigos Byron y Oscar, odio las flores más que cualquier otra cosa, pero a ustedes los amamos sinceramente. Un saludo de Hordak.
¿Cómo andan amigos? ¿Cómo les va? Buen día, hoy en un nuevo horario. Buenas tardes sería para nosotros en Argentina. ¿Cómo andas, Byron? Ya
hola, Gonzalo,
arrancamos mal.
Aquí tengo un pequeño delay, mis disculpas, estoy resolviéndolo, pero muy contento, muy animado. Pues tenemos un gran invitado y obviamente esto es posible sin también la valiosa colaboración de nuestro amigo Martín, que muy amablemente le tocó que ya de hoy para estar con nosotros, pero vamos a tener una charla bastante interesante y más bien.
Así es, bueno, vamos a tener hoy de nuevo un invitado internacional, un referente, un gran importante referente de lo que es Masters of the Universe, así que aprovechen a hacer todas las preguntas que tengan ganas de hacerle, aparte de las que le queremos hacer nosotros, ¿no? Pero bueno, no le hagamos perder más tiempo a Martín, que está desde Australia acompañándonos, así que ya le damos la entrada. ¿Cómo andas, Martín?
Good morning, Vietnam. No, sorry, that was... Ese era Robin Williams. Sí, buen día. Hermosa mañana.
Sí, buen día después de por primera vez 2026 te estamos teniendo de nuevo en el canal, ¿no? Hoy, estrenando.
Exacto.
Bueno.
Exacto. Sí, acá, fresquito, muchas ganas, un poco quemado, algunos partidos de fútbol ayer con 40 grados, así que estoy al límite.
Bueno, pero qué mejor oportunidad que esta para volver a estar en pantalla, ¿no? Siempre por un motivo especial, siempre te tenemos acá. Y hoy no es la excepción.
Sí.
Así que bueno, Byron.
Hay que ayudar cuando se pueda.
No, sabés que sos parte de acá, del equipo.
Gracias, Martín.
Si querés,
gracias.
Sí. No le hagamos perder más tiempo al invitado. ¿Lo querés presentar, Byron?
Pues bueno, amigos, como lo habíamos informado, pues una persona que ha estado muy dentro de nuestra amada franquicia, ha tenido participación en muchas obras escritas, en programas que hemos visto, en documentales. Creo yo de que me quedaría corto si hago una breve presentación, porque tiene una interesante y pues queremos traerles a ustedes, y pues nos llevó un poquito de paciencia, pero ya con nosotros por acá Jukka Isakainen desde Finlandia.
Welcome, Jukka.
Hello everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. Your first time speaking Spanish in live stream? In a live stream? Martín, entonces es la primera vez que está en un vivo de habla hispana, Diego.
Yeah, no problems. Hi, Sugar, how are you? Just to, yeah, it's very nice to have you here. Just Gonzalo is asking, is this your first time, in a podcast speaking Spanish or talking to Spanish public?
For podcasts, yes. I've only been interacting with written versions for doing articles for Mundo Masters magazine.
Yeah, from Spain.
From Spain, yeah. Very good, very good.
Bueno, Byron, no sé si querés, podemos ir saludando a la gente que ya está conectada para ver el vivo antes de empezar con las preguntas a Yuka. Tiene un delay, Byron, así que lo vamos a esperar que se vaya, que salga y se vuelva a conectar.
Gracias por estar con nosotros. Gracias
Bueno,
por
está con...
procedamos a ver qué mensajes tenemos. Yo regreso en un momento.
Ladu, ok. Buenas noches, Yerko. Gracias por estar acá. Bueno, buenas tardes también, porque Yerko es de Chile, así que también hoy es un horario inusual para él. Midnight, gracias por estar. Luis Ricoil desde España, gracias Luis por estar ahí. Resiliencia también, gracias por estar acá. José, desde España también, un buen horario para España. Hoy tenemos para los invitados, para los que estén mirando. Midnight Sun, gracias por estar acá también, saludando a Yuka. Branus, también es la primera vez que los veo a Branus, gracias por estar acá. Ricoil, bueno, todos los que están, gracias acá comentando. Acá los saluda Ricoil a Yuka. Nuestro amigo Gabriel Luque, también gran ilustrador de Mattel. Gracias por estar acá acompañándonos. Javi también, desde Costa Rica, gracias por estar acá. Bueno, amigos, si les parece, ahora sí, mientras todos los que se vayan conectando, vayan dejando su like, vayan dejando sus comentarios, las preguntas que le quieran hacer a Yuka, que se las vamos a ir leyendo también a medida que podamos. Así que, Martín, si te parece, arrancamos con las preguntas para Yuka, decirles ya está listo para empezar a responder todo nuestro cuestionario.
Dale. ¿Tiene una copia de las preguntas o...?
Él ya las vio, está todo ok.
Ok, perfecto.
Sí.
Perfecto. Ok, very good. Yuka, I want to start with...
Primero se le hago en castellano, así la gente entiende. Primero.
I explained to him that. So Gonzalo is going to read the same question in Spanish, and then obviously I will do the same in English, and obviously you will see me take notes and everything, but basically after you reply, I will translate. And then, should be some comments or something like that. So just that's the way we try to do it. Okay. So, dale, Gonzalo.
Perfecto. Bueno, lo primero que queremos saber es cómo le llega a él, ¿no? Masters of the Universe en su infancia, ¿no? A través de las figuras de acción de la serie animada o de otro medio. ¿Y qué recuerda que fue lo que más le impactó en ese momento cuando era chico? ¿Qué fue lo que más lo enganchó?
Okay. Yuka, during your childhood, how did Master of the Universe first come into your life? Through the action figures, the animated series, or something else? What was the biggest impact on you at that time? And yeah, if you compare those shows you watched as a kid, did Masters of the Universe hold an especially important place in your imagination?
Yes, so I was very fortunate that at the time we had the Masters of the Universe toys in Finland, and the cartoon by Filmation came on a cable channel, but it also was airing on our local channel, which was very new at the time. Like, I mean, this is a time when in Finland we had maybe like just 3 channels. So it was the third channel that gave He-Man episodes, and they were in English with Finnish subtitles. So the Filmation cartoon was very, very influential to me. I also bought many of the tapes that were sold, and those were the introduction to the world of Eternia for me. And I played with the toys, and I was very happy when, as a Christmas present, I got the Castle Grayskull playset, because it looked similar to the cartoon, which was a big deal to me. I think I've mentioned it sometime before that I never, for example, I didn't get the Snake Mountain toy because I didn't want it. It did not look like the one in the cartoon. So, yeah. And then other cartoons at the time, we had like this Niels Holgersson and Maya the Bee, and then obviously Turtles came right after, around that time in 87, 88, and it was the transition from He-Man to Turtles was one of those that as kids you always go for the next big thing that is going on at the time, and every kid in school is talking about. But I really liked He-Man, and I was very fortunate that we got the episodes on TV. We didn't get all of them, but at least over half, I want to say.
Very good, very good, very good pictures, by the way. Seeing you as a kid, that's not many kids have that memories in a picture. So yeah, that's very cool. Okay, lo que nos cuenta Yuka es que cuando era chico, él tuvo al mismo tiempo, digamos, las figuras llegaron con las series de Filmation. En Finlandia en ese momento había 3 canales de televisión y el canal número 3, así llama él, empezó a transmitir los episodios de Filmation. Sí, él cree que tuvo más o menos mitad de los episodios originales y que venían en inglés con traducción o subtitulado al finlandés. También nos cuenta que la primera gran alegría que tuvo en contacto con los juguetes fue recibir en Navidad el castillo de Grayskull, y que le encantó porque era muy parecido a lo que él veía en la televisión. Por lo contrario, nos dice que no estaba impresionado con nada con la montaña serpiente de Mattel, porque obviamente no se parecía en nada a lo que él veía cuando era chico. Y después nos dice que, bueno, que empezó una transición desde He-Man a las tortugas ninjas, que eso fue lo que naturalmente pasaba con los chicos de su edad en ese país, y que bueno, que la verdad que él recuerda con mucho cariño esos momentos que vivió en la infancia.
Bien. Pero fue algo especial que a él le gustaba más de MOTU que de otras franquicias. ¿Hubo algo que lo marcó más?
Ok, le pregunto.
Sí.
Yuka, Gonzalo is asking, is anything special, like basically linked you with Master of the Universe, or just was coincident, like the toys and the Filmation series appear on TV? Basically, this was just like a coincidence, let's say, or you were looking for something as a kid?
My earliest memories are watching He-Man episodes on VHS tapes and the TV, and trying to record as many episodes from TV that I could. There might be other cartoons at the time, but in Masters of the Universe, the basic good versus evil and the barbaric mixture with scientific weapons and vehicles, it was very fascinating and something that I enjoyed very, very much.
Oh, excellent. There is any connection for you between, obviously, the culture in your country, the Vikings, kind close with, like, you like it, like, basically, that's something you link it as a person from Finland, or just...
I'd say in my case it was more that during the 80s the barbaric nature more was something that was all over, and you have movies with actors like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and that they're all these big heroic persons, so the He-Man cartoon felt in that similar style, and I'm also a big fan of Arnold's movies growing up.
Ok, perfecto. Sí, lo que nos dice que obviamente él se conectó por medio de las series y se acuerda de sus primeras memorias que trataba de grabar en videotape lo que pudiera de la televisión, y yo le pregunté si había una conexión con la cultura de cosas en la zona nórdica de los vikingos. Bárbaros son más de abajo de Alemania, por decir de una manera, pero es como que a él le gustaba esos cuerpos musculosos, como que le caían, y que a su vez era fanático de Schwarzenegger, Stallone, y las películas de Arnold le gustaban mucho.
Estás muteado, Gonza.
¿Querés continuar, Byron, con las preguntas?
Gracias, Gonza, es que estabas muteado, no había escuchado.
Sí, ya sé.
Bueno, continuando con esta fabulosa entrevista, y para avanzar, tocaría el cuestionamiento 2, que sería de fan a historiador oficial del mito. Tu trabajo en publicaciones de Dark Horse Comics como He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Minicomic Collection y el Character Guide and World Compendium te posiciona como uno de los principales archivistas del lore. ¿Cómo fue el proceso de pasar de fan apasionado a investigador y redactor oficial del universo de Eternia? Esa sería la segunda pregunta. Gracias, Martín.
Okay, that's okay. You got from fan to official historian of the myth. Your work for Dark Horse Comics publications such as He-Man and the Master of the Universe Minicomic Collection in 2015, and the Character Guide and the World Compendium 2017-2021 has positioned you as one of the leading archivists. What was it like go just basically from being a passionate fan to becoming an official researcher and writer of the world of Eternia?
It was a very interesting journey. When I was a teenager, I was able to get to internet as early as 1997. At school, we had internet connection, and we could find many websites that were at the time. And from all of that, I was able to find websites like He-Man.org, and also there was the James Eatock and Zadok Angels cartoon episode review website. So those sparked my interest that, hey, there are other people who remember He-Man. This is awesome. So I became active in internet fandom. I was very, very happy to find other fans all over the world, from Germany, America, Spain, Australia, who still remembered He-Man, and this is around the time of like 2000, 2001, and just discussing people with the topic and memories. And I think James Eatock has many times said that there were moments where we didn't even know how many episodes of the Filmation cartoon were in existence, because as a kid you don't really know all of these things, but you were able to figure it out at the time, and it was a very just eye-opening experience to discover more of He-Man, like stories I had never seen. And in the online community, I was active. I did illustrate fan art, and I tried to learn as much about He-Man as I could. Mostly James Eatock was a big influence. He was the historian for that cartoon, and I was just very active all these years. So people like Val Staples, who was running He-Man.org, he noticed that I was always in the discussions on the forums, trying to just give more information to people. If I had learned anything, if anyone had questions, I'd try and I'd want to answer them as best as I could. And from all of that, it led to opportunities like the Minicomic collection book, because Val Staples was handling that project. They had a team where they scanned the mini-comics and restored the images for the book, and I did research on the trivia sections and got to write those, which was a very fun and new, interesting situation. We had before that done, or I had contributed to the 2002 mini-comic adaptation for episode 40, which was the script that was written by Dean Steffen, but it was never animated. And when the DVDs were being made around 2007, 2008 by BCI, they wanted to include a comic adaptation, as well as they included the script for that episode in the special features. So Val was always trying to find more fans in the community to give chances to contribute and be a part of projects. So I had already helped with a little bit of background coloring at the time. I was it was one of those situations where I had done a whole lot of fan art, and I was learning how to use programs like Photoshop to color, and that has later led that I've also done comic colors on different comic titles for Action Lab Studios and Zenescope. I did one cover, and which has been just really great opportunities. But yes, there's the Dark Horse books were just an awesome opportunity, and Val was the one who was handling most of them. So I was able to contribute there. The character guidebook was one of the really big projects, and that was a whole lot of fun. I think we spent around 2 years writing that and doing the research.
Yeah, massive. Okay, very good. Okay, yo por suerte estoy tomando notas, así que vamos a leer un poco. Obviamente él tiene... ¿Perdón? ¿Qué está?
No, dale Martín.
Dale.
Perdón.
No, él lo que nos cuenta es que como adolescente en 1997 descubre internet a través de su escuela. Entonces empieza obviamente su interés a explorar un poco sobre lo que era el mundo de He-Man y se encuentra con sitios web de, por ejemplo, He-Man.org. Obviamente él empieza a ver que hay interés en otros países que se acuerdan de He-Man. Por ejemplo, nos menciona Alemania, Estados Unidos, Australia, Inglaterra, y cuenta que a eso de alrededor de los años 2000 hace conexión con un conocido de la casa, James Eatock, que él obviamente es como el guía espiritual de su vida artística. Entonces él, bueno, a través de esta nueva conexión con James empieza obviamente a descubrir nuevas historias, minicomics que nunca había visto en su vida, leído, entonces se apasiona y bueno, empieza a tener buena conexión y James a través de sus ilustraciones lo empieza a ayudar en distintos proyectos chiquitos, hasta que conocen la conexión con Val Staples, que es otra, obviamente ya conocen de He-Man.org y obviamente
claro.
Y project manager de muchas cositas que obviamente se van transformando en como los libros de Dark Horse. También nos cuenta que tuvo participación en proyectos de hacer DVDs en el 2007-2008 con una compañía que se llama BCI, que no sé cuál sería la traducción de esa compañía, pero bueno, como tuvo esas conexiones y a través de los proyectos de Val Staples, él se va metiendo más y bueno, ayudando desde ilustraciones, hacer colorizaciones, hasta que bueno, finalmente llega, ahí nos está mostrando uno de los DVD. Ahí está. Muy lindo. Y bueno, y hasta que llega, bueno, que es lo máximo, que es, los libros de Dark Horse, los Minicomics y los caracteres. No.
Perfecto, Martín. Bueno, decile que estamos seleccionando preguntas que está haciendo la gente en el chat, que después se las vamos a pasar a él para que las responda.
Bueno. Yuka Gonzalo is saying we want to have some questions from the public, like they are not in the obviously script, but we will give you those ones later. So
Okay.
Perfecto. Bueno, voy a pasar a la próxima pregunta. Me voy a saltear una, Martín, porque ya la respondió en esto. Vamos directamente a cuando le puso la voz a un personaje de un capítulo de 2000X en Finlandia. Eso es muy interesante. Y cuando tuvo su participación como el Capitán MIro en el doblaje finlandés de Masters of the Universe de la serie de 2002, dice que nos cuente un poco cómo fue ponerse en la piel de ese personaje y cómo surgió la oportunidad y qué significó para él formar parte, ¿no? de la serie animada, ¿no? De quedar registrado en el universo de MOTU 2000X.
Yuka, obviously there was a special moment for you and for the fans, like you did a performance as Captain MIro in the Finnish production or translation of the Master of the Universe 2002-2004. So if you can tell us about how it feels, how it was about it, the connection, and how it feels to be part of forever now for the world of Eternia.
That was a very, very interesting moment, and I think it's maybe like the first sort of official moment for me. It was before the comic adaptation coloring help. Because I was part of the He-Man.org forums, and we knew that there was a new cartoon coming, and there were the weekly discussions every time a episode came out on Cartoon Network on Fridays. I was watching the reactions from people and reading the discussions, and just people also were able to share some little screen captures from the episodes, which was very, very awesome. And I at the time I had managed to make a couple American friends who were able to record on the 2002 He-Man episodes on VHS, and they would send it to me in a post package, and I was able to watch the videos here because my good friend Mikko had a VCR that also played the. There's a different speed in a European, and American. So he had a VCR that was able to show the American VHS tapes, and they were just like. Let's see if I can actually find something here. The thing falls down, but they were basically like this.
Okay. DVD.
Yeah, we used to have the same problem in Argentina. I think NTSC is in the USA and probably in Latin America. And I think Europe is the same. So yeah, we suffer the same.
So I had seen the episodes already, at least some of them, as they were coming out weekly, and I heard that the cartoon would also be airing on the Finnish channel, again, channel number 3, the next year in 2003. So I think I was able to use the internet just to search up information that what studio was doing the dubbing for the show, and I actually contacted them that hey, you're doing this He-Man cartoon, and I'm not sure if do you have all the translated names in Finnish? Like, do you have any source that you are using? Because I mean, in Finland we had the old 80s translated some toy magazines from Germany, and then also some comics. The comics used material from basically the UK London comics, and also the German EHAPA comics. So even as a kid, when I was reading those comics, I knew that there were different canons, different continuities, that sometimes the stories didn't really match up. And for me, actually, I really enjoyed it. For me, it brings more variety. But I knew that there were some translations on the names, and I tried contacting the studio and asked them about it, and they said that, well, we have some translations here, but you can submit something if you have. And then I'm like just a kid, maybe, gosh, 18, 19 at this point, and I just asked that, well, can I come visit the studio? Can I come interview you guys on the work that you're doing? And they said that, Yeah, sure. You can come for a visit. And so I spent an entire day in their studio. I got to meet the voice director and voice actors for Prince Adam, Orko, He-Man, Teela, Sorceress, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, because it was a small studio, so they had maybe like 5 to 7 people doing the voices, even for the 2002 dub. And I took photos of the journey, and at one point where we were in the interview, they said that, well, because I had followed, they had like the people, voice actors come in, and they would always do their own character part, the recording on many episodes. And at one point, when maybe 2 or 3 actors, they had gone and do their recording, and they had then sat down to interview with me, and I asked them a lot of questions, and then the director at some point said like, hey, do you want to also record one of the voices? And I was like very, very ecstatic at that point, like, do I ever? Yes. So what can I do? And I thought at first that because I was very young, that they would suggest that, well, maybe a flashback with a young Prince Adam, or if there was something else that. But they said that, well, here's this character, Captain MIro, and we haven't assigned any actors for that role yet. So since you're here, do you want to do that? and I
Nice.
so I got to go into the recording booth, and I got to it took I think three takes. I mean, it's like he has like the maybe one or 2 lines basically. So, but it was and I mostly used my own voice. They said that it's fine. I don't need to try and sound like an old man or anything. I think I may have tried slightly lower the voice register, but I mean, as a 19-year-old kid, like, yeah, it was just my own voice. But yeah, I got the recording, and then
Good.
next year the episodes came on TV, and I got to
Do
hear
you remember the lines?
well, the English is
Yeah.
just basically that capture him, and so in Finnish it's vangitkaa hänet. So very, very short-lived dubbing session.
Okay. Very nice. That's so cool.
Pero bueno,
So-
ya quedó inmortalizado en un capítulo de la serie de 2000X, con la voz de él, ya
Sí.
está.
Perfecto.
Podemos decirle
Ok.
que podemos decir que estamos en vivo con el Capitán MIro, decirle.
Sí. Yeah, you also saying we are live with the Capitán MIro. So that's the first time we have a real character with us. So that's so cool. Okay, vamos. Entonces vamos a empezar del principio, que dice que, bueno, a través de la conexión que él tenía con He-Man.org, siempre seguía obviamente las discusiones y todo lo que se comentaba de los nuevos capítulos de 2000X, y que obviamente tenía un amigo en Estados Unidos que le mandaba en VHS por correo los videos que grababan en Estados Unidos de la serie para que la pudiera ver en Finlandia. Nos cuenta que tenía el problema que teníamos nosotros, que es obviamente distinta norma de videotape. No sé cómo era visto en tu país, porque creo que en Argentina somos PAL-N también, y en Estados Unidos es NTSC, y que bueno, creo que es un tema de velocidad más que nada. Entonces, en esa época había videocaseteras que tenían las dos, eran binorma. en Argentina era de Aurora Grundy, Gonzalo. Si eras rico podías tener esa videocasetera. Y yo tenía un amigo que veíamos películas de Estados Unidos porque mi papá tenía plata, así que podíamos ver. Pero bueno, era común, y él tenía un amigo que se llama Miko, que lo ayudaba obviamente a ver esas series. Obviamente las series llegan oficialmente a Finlandia, otra vez por el canal 3, que fue el mismo que él cuando era chico veía los videos de Filmation. Y bueno, creo que fue el 2003 nos dijo, y él nos cuenta que se puso a investigar cómo hacían las traducciones, porque cuenta que los cómics, por ejemplo, vienen de Alemania, del Reino Unido, y que ahí se traducen para Finlandia. Investiga, y bueno, llega a contactar al estudio que traducía los capítulos de 2000X al finlandés. Él recuerda que bueno, en esa época tenía 18, 19 años, y bueno, de cara dura nomás se anima a preguntarle si lo invita, si se autoinvita a ver si puede ir a presenciar un estudio cuando hacen una grabación, y los actores de buena onda dicen que sí, que no hay ningún problema. Entonces el día que va, conoce a los actores que generalmente hacían He-Man, Skeletor, Orko, Tila, todos los, digamos, y que cada actor, como ustedes saben, ustedes tienen ahí unos contactos especiales de Latinoamérica, saben que hacen distintos personajes. Y se pone a verlos durante un día y se sienta y habla y aprovecha para hacer un poco de entrevistarlos y conocer cómo se trata su trabajo. Y uno de ellos le ofrece si quería hacer un personaje, y él pensó automáticamente, porque era joven, si iba a ser una parte del príncipe Adam, porque obviamente la voz de joven, pero no, le dijeron que podía ser el Capitán MIro, y bueno, eran 2 líneas, que es lo que nos dijo en finlandés y en inglés, que dijo más o menos que ir a atraparlos, sería la traducción al castellano. Así que bueno, esa fue su paso a la inmortalidad de He-Man.
Muy bien, bueno, justamente hablando de las traducciones, porque lo miraba él en la intro del programa que sonreía cuando escuchaba las voces de Hordak y de Shira, decirle que esos fueron los actores reales que le dieron la voz en América Latina a Hordak y a Shira.
Gonzalo is saying like when he played the introduction of the show, the 2 actors you saw there, or you watched there, they are the real actors from Hordak and Shira in Latin America. So basically that from Mexico to Argentina. I think España lo mismo, Gonzalo.
No, en España tenían doblaje en español.
Doblaje aparte.
Okay. So they are Latinoamérica, so from Mexico to Argentina, the official, basically voices of the show. Yeah.
Nice.
Sí.
Pues
bueno,
bien,
Byron,
amigos,
¿continuamos?
Continuamos, y agradecerles su permanencia, su sintonía, amigos. Estamos en un horario atípico para América Latina, con este invitado de lujo y obviamente con el apoyo crucial de Martín. Muchísimas gracias. Vamos a continuamos acá con la entrevista con Jukka y Sakainen, y pues vamos ahora a consultarle algo respecto a pues que queremos profundizar en el libro sobre la serie animada 2002 de la guía no oficial que él muy a su autoría hizo, y pues queremos saber cómo nace la idea y el propósito del proyecto, cómo abordaste la investigación detrás del libro y cómo describirías la experiencia de documentar y analizar esa serie. Gracias, Martín.
Okay. Jukka, obviously you launched the unofficial cartoon guide for the 2002 animated series. So we would like to know about that project, the idea where it come from, and all your experience through that process, basically.
So this was after we had done the official Dark Horse books, and during the time when those were being worked on, there was many discussions that what topics would be made as books. And so obviously you had the cartoon animated guide by James Eatock for the He-Man and She-Ra, and then there was the newspaper strip comics, which were very rare that you haven't seen those really anywhere, and there aren't all that many scans online at the time. So that was something that was decided will make for a good book project. I helped a little bit on the newspaper strip book as well, and I think Daniel Gelerte, who was the mostly very hands-on with that project, even gave a small mention in the first pages for the newspaper collection. But then one topic was the 2002 maybe comics or cartoons that would they be made into any book, and at the time there was little interest for it. I forget some of the specifics at the time, but there was more interest that from people, because when we're doing the character guide, it was an interesting moment when, for me, that was like a big thing that, hey, here's so many things from like collecting all the different character stories or vehicles or locations, weapons, that if they appeared in cartoon or a movie or a golden book or Italian comics or German audio stories, like we gathered so much information for that. And I had done the 2002 research for both cartoon episodes and the comics, and just looking at what characters are in all the appearances, what weapons, what magic spells, and just doing the research on all of that. And then we got to like the final editing process, write them down, and also make small, like the fine adjustments at the very end. So after those books had come out, and there was the supplemental guide, which was released at the same time that the Toys of He-Man book, but at the time it was looking like that there wouldn't be any more like these types of collection books from Dark Horse about like something maybe like the UK comics would have been something awesome that I'd love to see one day, but they didn't, I guess, go anywhere. I'm not sure all the details, but I had done all this research and written a whole lot about the 2002 cartoon at that point. So then, basically the global pandemic hit around 2020, and everyone was like just indoors. You couldn't go anywhere. So I noticed that I had a bit extra time on my hands, and I thought that, okay, well, inspired by actually James Eatock's, because he had done around maybe 2010 his unofficial book for the Filmation He-Man. So it was just only text and no official images. And I thought that, well, we don't have any book for the 2002 cartoon, and maybe I could write it. And I already had done a lot of research, so that was the backbones for the book project. But I also still spent, I think, a year and a half. I went through all the episodes, I read all the scripts, and the scripts had a whole lot of interesting things that sometimes the final episode maybe deleted some scenes, or they just changed what was originally written and what would be in the actual episode. So all of that information is gathered in the book.
Yes,
And,
a good reason to stay at home. A lot of time. Thank you.
Bien. Ok.
Sí.
Me está matando el sol.
Bajá la persiana si querés.
Sí, lo voy a hacer.
Y se quiere ver así estilo 90s.
Oh, Dios. Es fuerte el Australian Sun. Ok. Bueno, vamos a la traducción. Ok, lo que nos dice que obviamente que él sabía obviamente la existencia de todos estos libros de Dark Horse y bueno, obviamente para resumir, había
Sí.
obviamente todas las guías y todos los proyectos que habían hecho con Val y James Eatock. Él lo que le pasa es que obviamente sabía que había un montón de cosas que habían quedado sueltas y especialmente que había cómics de Italia, del Reino Unido, que nunca habían sido explorados. Él tenía todo eso, digamos, en la parte de atrás de su mente para que diga, bueno, ojalá algún día Dark Horse lo pueda hacer, pero bueno, obviamente no pasó. Y bueno, cuando nos tocó la pandemia, se dio cuenta que él tenía un montón de tiempo libre que le quedaba, tenían no mucho que hacer. Y bueno, inspirado en esa acción que había hecho James Eatock, que él había hecho una guía no oficial, se inspiró en esa misma manera y realizó la del 2000X, que obviamente tenía todo ese material que él había juntado anteriormente, pero también le puso garra y digamos que empezó a buscar, a verse todos los episodios, a buscar escenas que no habían sido borradas y algún otro script que no había sido incluido. Entonces, bueno, juntó todo eso y de esa manera sacó a los libros que obviamente escribió.
Perfecto. Justo a raíz de eso la gente le está haciendo una pregunta sobre este tema. No sé si decirle si la quiere leer y responder, ¿no?
Sí. There is a question there. You can read it and yeah, go for it.
I have a link that is print on demand for the unofficial book. I sent it to Gonzalo and Byron's messenger, so they can link it somewhere where people can find it.
Ok. Bueno, con su consentimiento lo vamos a hacer y lo vamos a compartir con nuestros amigos.
Bueno, esa pregunta es obviamente a través, si sigue me imagino la venta del libro se puede conseguir y bueno, Gonzalo tiene el link que le da permiso obviamente para publicarlo, así la gente puede encontrar el libro.
Perfecto.
Lo vamos
Gracias,
a compartir, amigos.
Sí.
No problem.
Bueno, vamos a continuar pero vamos a poner alguna pregunta de la gente para hacerlo participar también, que la responda brevemente, lo más resumido posible. Acá tenemos una pregunta. Decirle que las puede leer él y responder Martín.
Sí. Se la leo para que sea más fácil. Question Yuka from our public. So, any character beyond the He-Man that you really like and you continue collecting?
Is this other characters in Masters of the Universe or different line completely?
Different lines. Yeah, different lines, basically.
Not currently. I think I got some of the Thundercat toys, when they were made from was it Super 7, but mostly the He-Man toy collection is the one that I'm collecting. I'm not much of a toy collector, but I do really enjoy the classics toy line, and but I have a whole lot of the He-Man books collection and comics and all that, and on the cartoons on DVD and all that. So, but toys, it's mostly He-Man stuff.
Yeah, okay, very good. And just I take a chance to ask you. Like, for me, I love classics too, but then I connect it with Mythic Legions. Do you like that line, or you never, from the Four Horsemen, the Mythic Legions line?
They are something I'd love to have one day. Maybe some of them they just showed some that are very. I think there was a Horde Trooper inspired one, and there's the many ones that are that have the He-Man inspired characters. Mostly it's just that they are so expensive to get, and then the shipping and the taxes on top of it and all that. So, but the Mythic Legions would be something very, very awesome to have, and if I really had money, something like the statues from Mondo would be also awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Bueno,
él nos dice que...
sí, no, perdón, dale. Sí, me olvidé que tenía que traducir.
Iba a traducir la respuesta. No, está bien. Lo que nos decía es que obviamente él le gusta obviamente todo lo que es He-Man, que no hay otra línea en particular, si bien le gusta en general, pero obviamente le gusta todo lo que es He-Man, le encanta Classics, y que él obviamente se dedica a coleccionar lo que es libros, tiene muchísimos libros y cómics. Y yo le repregunté cuando dijo de los Classics por los Mythic Legions, que obviamente hay una continuación de los Four Horsemen del mismo estilo, digamos, y dice que sí le gusta, especialmente las que hacen honor a He-Man y bueno, todos esos personajes que le encantaría, pero después le voy a preguntar. Dice que los taxis, o sea, los impuestos en Finlandia son muy altos. ¿Me dejas preguntarle eso rápido? Porque me interesa. Yuka, how is the system in Finland? So basically, you pay any parcel coming from overseas, or is all taxes, or like say, how much extra? For example, 10, 20%.
There were some limits that, for example, when Classics you could buy the subscription. It was because they had like the $20 for many years until it jumped to 25, and so if you had just like the one figure per month, it might be okay, but something bigger, maybe Battle Cat, might be something that the customs would flag and be like, okay, we'll check this, and you need to make sure what the value is, and we'll add some percentage to it. I'm not sure what it is, but it's luckily kind of small, but you never know which ones will be held and which ones will go through with no problem.
Okay, so it's not clear like the importation of goods, for
I can always do the declarations for them if needed. So, and currently, like when Mattel sends me, because I'm one of the influencers, so those are always very interesting to handle. That what the items are and what they'll be, because sometimes there are even surprises to me what they might send.
Ah, nice, very nice. It's very good, like I say, to understand how other countries works, because in Argentina it's very expensive, but for example Australia is very, very clear. Like I say, you can import up to $1,000. Okay, after that, that's where you need to go for it. So
I really like watching the Border Control TV show.
Tradujo. Le pregunté por un tema de cómo, obviamente, él expresó con qué difícil que es a veces con el tema de impuestos de importación a su país, y dice que generalmente cuando fue lo de Classic, que era una suscripción, lo que eran figuras de 20, no había problema, después se fue a 25 dólares, pero el tema es que cuando si era un Battle Cat, por ejemplo, podía estar sujeto a impuestos, y que a veces, porque tiene fans que le mandan regalos, se le complica la declaración porque no sabe qué viene, obviamente, y que sí, que ese es el único problema.
Sí.
Pero, sí.
Acá decirle cortito, así pasamos a lo siguiente y no nos atrasamos. Una pregunta también de Recoil, que la puede leer él.
Okay. So, this question is, which character from the Master of the Universe 2000X do you like the most and why? And thank you very much.
I think I actually like Prince Adam, because they give the story does focus on him struggling with the responsibilities of being He-Man and learning all of these things, and the comics by MV Creations also had some moments where even He-Man has to try and figure things out, because he can sense maybe the power of the elders and their wisdom, but he cannot access the wisdom. So it's one of those growing as a person moments that you need to learn from your mistakes, and it's basically the very good moral for children to learn, and hopefully adults as well.
Muy interesante lo que nos contesta ahí, porque obviamente se refiere, o sea, generalmente la gente pensaría en He-Man, un esqueleto, pero no, él se refiere a Adam porque le gusta o le apasiona de alguna manera el conflicto interno que tiene Adam entre el poder y la sabiduría. Dice que, o sea, claramente Adam puede acceder al poder muy fácilmente, pero no a la sabiduría, y ese conflicto es lo que realmente a él le gusta, y que a su vez es una buena lección para los chicos y gente grande para entender que obviamente
chicos y grandes.
Sí.
Perfecto. Bueno, continuando, Martín, nos vamos metiendo en otro terreno. La colaboración que él hizo para los juegos de mesa de Archon Studio, para Fields of Eternia, The Board Game, y el Battleground de 2022. ¿Qué diferencia encontró para escribir sobre un libro y la diferencia de trabajar para un juego, ¿no? Para un juego de mesa.
Okay. You got this. Obviously, you did a collaboration for board games in 2021 and 2022. So, if you can tell us, basically the difference of when you were writing for a reference book or a narrative for a strategic game, please.
The board games for me came as a very great opportunity because of Ken Coleman suggesting me. He had done the cover art for my unofficial 2002 book, and they when Archon were doing the board games, they had Ken Coleman help with the 3D modeling, and then when it was time to hey, are there people we should contact about doing research on the world of Eternia and the lore and all of that? So he suggested me, which I was very grateful, and I got to write the basics on the characters, because and the world based on the classics bios, which was the licensing agreement that they had, that the games are set or using characters and elements from the classics bios. So I wrote the information that was available on the bios, and at the time there were also continuing the every Monday on He-Man.org they had the new bio that were written by Daniel Galerte and Eric Marshall. So it was fun to keep updating the giant text that all the information gathered to always keep updating that, hey, now there's a new bio for something like a shield or a sword or this character, and kept sending always an updated version of the basic texts to them. And there were moments where my role was something like that. They'd ask that, hey, if we use a vehicle that will shoot some missiles, that what vehicle might have the longest range to shoot a missile. So it might be something like Battle Ram instead of a different vehicle. And we also worked, they were expanding on the powers of Grayskull characters, so the Hero and Eldor and all those were a whole lot of fun to have as they were making the additional parts for the board games. So it was basically like background research, but a whole lot of fun and a whole lot of writing.
Yeah. Very nice.
Solo quería agregarle algo acá, Martín, perdón. Solo puedes decirle que hubiera sido genial que este tablero, este juego, bueno, obviamente también el otro documento, haberlo visto en español hubiera sido genial para América Latina, para pasar un buen rato jugando. Esto sería genial tenerlo en español.
Sí. Yuka Fito is saying like, it was kind of sad, like we never have a version in Spanish of the games, because potentially could be very popular here or in Latin America to play, because obviously it looks like a great game, obviously, but
I think they have translated them on some languages, but I forget how many.
Okay, well, very good. Good information. Voy a la pregunta. La compañía Archon contrató a una persona que era artista para obviamente diseñar estos juegos o hacer las ilustraciones, y justamente era la misma persona que lo ayudó a él con su libro. Entonces, a través de ese link, esta persona lo invitó a Yuka a participar del desarrollo de los juegos con esta compañía. Lo interesante es que esta compañía tenía la licencia de Mattel y podía utilizar simplemente la información de las bios oficiales de Classics, que eso obviamente era lo que estaban en ese momento vigente. Y bueno, usando esa información se pusieron obviamente a diseñar el juego y a escribir, que él dice que es obviamente muy diferente a hacer un libro, porque obviamente expande en otra dirección. Lo bueno que nos dice es que yo me acuerdo también, y que seguramente ustedes, que en He-Man.org hubo una época que se dedicaron a sacar más bios que iba desde personajes, escudos, espadas, vehículos, y eso en una manera le dio un poquito una ampliación a la inspiración artística para incluir en el juego. Y nos dice que, por ejemplo, parte del juego es que era una discusión así media divertida, que era, por ejemplo, la distancia de los misiles del Battleground, que obviamente sabemos todos que son los que más lejos llegan. Entonces, como eso le fue dando al juego, digamos, un abanico de opciones que le parecía muy divertida. Y después, bueno, lo que nos decías vos, Fisto, que obviamente que hubo una pena, pero él dice que hubo algunas traducciones, pero no se acuerda cuántos se hicieron del juego.
Decirle que les diga que somos un promedio de más de 670 millones de personas en Latinoamérica, así que
sí.
Un 10% creo que no les quedaría nada mal que compráramos.
Sí. Sí, okay. Yuka, Fisto is saying like the fan base of Latin America is for that game potentially could be 60 million because we are almost 700 million here and 10% they love him, and so maybe there is a business opportunity there.
Gracias, Martín.
Bueno, Byron, ¿continuamos?
Continuamos con esta agradable conversación con Yuka.
Antes que nada, agradecerle a la gente, ¿no? A las que están conectados, vayan dejando, estamos leyendo a poco sus preguntas, vayan dejando su like, así se extiende más este vivo para que más gente lo pueda ver y disfrutar de la presencia de Yuka con nosotros. Así que adelante, Byron.
Gracias, Gonzalo. Pues, Yuka, quería preguntarte, ¿contribuiste con investigación, contribuiste con imágenes y materiales de video para el documental The Power of Grayskull, The Definitive History of He-Man and Masters of the Universe? ¿Qué aspectos de la historia y la franquicia crees que todavía aún no se han explorado lo suficiente? Esa sería la pregunta.
Okay. So obviously you did some contribution for the Power of Grayskull, the documentary, and the history of the He-Man, the Master of the Universe. The question is, what parts of the franchise history do you feel they still haven't not been explored deeply enough?
That is a very, very interesting question. I think, it speaks to also some of the what versions fans just like more, and I think that there might be older fans who aren't all that interested in the New Adventures story from 1989 and 1990, but I think that that is at least one aspect where there could be some more research done on the history of those toys, and it's all every design concept and the evolution of any brand that have been made are fascinating on their own, but that's one that comes to mind, because we have been very fortunate with a whole lot of the old materials on interviewing people like Mark Taylor or Roger Swede and Ted Mayer and all those guys who worked on the line at the time and have spoken in different documentaries and Netflix, the Toys That Made Us episode. So and we have a whole lot of the Filmation people have been interviewed. The BCI DVDs, they had many part documentary, which was really awesome, from the directors and script writers and voice actors and storyboard artists and all those people. So personally, again, because I like the 2002 version, it has some research done to it that people have been interviewed, and it's a smaller topic compared to something like the 80s toys and Filmation, but I do think that there are still some corners in the Masters of the Universe that would require more research, and Also, She-Ra probably is something that there isn't all that many toy concept artwork that we have seen. I think at PowerCon 2016, was it Justine Dancer who provided some images and concept artwork, but again, it's one of those that the toy aspect might be something that could have a whole lot more potential, but has not been maybe talked enough about. But yeah, off the top of my head, the new adventures might be the smaller aspect that I think hasn't gotten as much attention as maybe it could have.
Okay. Bueno, muy nos dice que es muy buena pregunta y coincidencia. Nosotros hicimos un programa especial de las nuevas aventuras y él lo que nos dice justamente es eso, que una de las cosas que no se ha explorado profundamente son las nuevas aventuras de He-Man, los juguetes especialmente, y que obviamente porque hay cierta rechazo, digamos, de los fans originales de He-Man, pero bueno, a él le encantaría que eso se investigue un poco más y se haga un poco más de research en lo que es, los juguetes, el desarrollo, porque sería una pena que se pierda y que no tenga la misma visualización que los juguetes originales, que por suerte tuvimos como gente como Mark Taylor que nos contó en vivo, digamos, cómo fue la experiencia, el desarrollo, como otras personas. El otro que también menciona es She-Ra, que no se ha explorado profundamente, como también diseño, juguetes y esas cosas. Así que bueno, considera que esos serían los puntos que faltaría ir más a fondo.
Documentarlos más, por así decirlo.
Y sí, porque hay como, es lo que dice, que es como, ustedes lo saben mejor que yo, que hay como un rechazo natural a las nuevas aventuras y bueno, que es una pena que se pierda y que no se documente suficiente, porque obviamente va a pasar eso a la historia en un momento y bueno, va a ser tarde.
Y es parte de Masters.
Sí,
Tiene que explorarse. Gracias, Yuka.
Bien. Bueno, continuamos. Y acá le voy a hacer una pregunta que obviamente venimos viendo todo lo que es sus trabajos como aporte de escritura, aporte de historia, pero él también es artista, colorista y dibujante, ¿no? Entonces sabemos que colaboró coloreando los fondos para el Minicomic incluido en el DVD de 2008 y también estuvo colaborando en el coloreo de secuencias de El retorno de Faker de James Eatock. Estuvo él colaborando también en los colores. Entonces, ¿cómo cambia en él o qué disfruta más de pasar de ser un historiador, escritor, a la faceta de colaborador, pero como artista, ¿no?
Sí. Yuka, you did some collaborations with, coloring, like, for example, James Eatock, Return of Faker, and other mini-comics. So the question basically is... el DVD. La pregunta básicamente es cómo ese paso de... Sorry. This change from coloring, from, writer to colorist, writers, how you pass, that moving from one side to the other, if you enjoy that, and we can talk about it.
It's the many aspects that keep it very interesting. I'd love to maybe one day help color a He-Man comic cover, or even illustrate one, a variant cover. You never know what the future will hold. Or even write some comic. That would be also very, very awesome. So, but the artistic sides are something that when I was doing a whole lot of the fan art and just learning to digitally color, it was a very exciting time and just trying to learn these new programs, and it's something that I just haven't had as much time to do, and I hope to do more fan art in the future as well. But I was just very fortunate that on the books I was able to help with writing. So and also in the character guide, there was the cover there actually is something that I was given the opportunity by Val Staples to suggest different cover layout ideas, and so the character compendium guide cover is something that I basically put together. All the small icons were something I chose, and the main image is also one that I suggested. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Él nos dice que sí, obviamente le encanta escribir y todo eso, pero también disfruta del lado artístico. O sea, le encanta hacer coloring digital, y que obviamente las colaboraciones le dieron algún, digamos, espacio para que sea creativo con pequeñas cositas, pero que es algo que le gusta hacer y que obviamente en algún momento le encantaría hacer como alguna tapa de DVDs o algo de eso por el estilo, pero también abrirse más a hacer arte de fan, que obviamente es una faceta que disfruta mucho.
Perfecto. Gonzalo, ¿estás muteado?
¿Pasamos a la siguiente?
Vamos a la siguiente.
¿Hace vos?
Gracias, Lucas. Sí, correcto. Bueno, vamos entrando un poquito a otro tema muy interesante, la experiencia de ser parte de... bueno, ha sido inmortalizado dentro del universo de Eternia con cameos en DC Comics y en publicaciones de Dark Horse, incluyendo una aparición en He-Man de Eternity War número 15. ¿Qué sentiste al verte convertido en parte oficial del mundo que has estudiado durante tantos años?
So the question is, obviously you have the experience of becoming part of the myth, you being immortalized between the universe of Eternia through cameos in DC Comics and Dark Horse publications, so including an appearance in He-Man, the Eternity War number 15. What did it feel like to see yourself become an official part of the world you studied for so many years?
With the DC Comics, I was very excited when they started making the first digital comics in 2012, and they had the mini series, and then after that it became at the time the ongoing comics. I had my own fan blog at the time. It's on the He-Man Eternity War.blogspot.com, and I was always trying to post the latest news and updates about the next issue or cover images and comic solicitations, and I got to do some interviews with the people who worked on the comic, from artists and writers, and also just talking with the main artist for the line, Pop Man, who did a whole lot of the pages for that comic series. And when it became from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe title, it became the He-Man, the Eternity War. I remember that at the time it was one of those that, okay, we will have this maxi series of comics. So it meant that the term is that you get like more than, I think, 10 or 12 issues, as DC Comics treats these. There's mini series and ongoing series, and there's maxi series. but it was one of those moments that, okay, we're getting a whole new title for the comic, but at the same time they still kept the same writer, the same artist, the same coloring people, and we knew at the time that it might not go beyond maybe the 15 or 16 issues as more like issues were coming out, and so this was like on the second to last issue, so it was just one of those that when the cover, the page previews came online, I was actually very shocked to see that the dead spirits or whatever they are that Skeletor is summoning, that there were my friend Joseph and then my face next to him, and it was a surprise from the illustrator Pop Man. He was he's a good friend.
Popman. Yeah.
Ok, bueno, como siempre, por a través de conexiones, obviamente de ir a los mismos artistas que fueron desarrollando los DC Comics, y obviamente por la conexión de los libros de Dark Horse, él se fue metiendo y colaborando, aportando material y obviamente discutiendo con los productores, y bueno, una de las discusiones es que obviamente eran miniseries, minicomics que iban de 1 a 12, 15 capítulos, y bueno, a través de eso se fue metiendo y le dieron la oportunidad de obviamente desarrollar el propio, y que bueno, que fue una de las grandes oportunidades que tuvo, y que también vuelve a expresar todo su nivel artístico y disfrutó mucho del proceso entero.
Qué genial.
Shall we go to the Dark Horse version now?
Sí, si quiere contar brevemente también cómo llegó a tener un cameo, una aparición en los cómics de Revolution de Dark Horse, ¿no?
Sí. Yeah, please go ahead, Yuga.
So this was another surprise. So the writer, I when the Netflix cartoons came out, the Revelation, and then we also got the Revolution. I liked both of them. I think I liked Revolution a bit more than Revelation. There are good parts and some parts that I don't personally like, but it's one of those very divisive things in the fandom, and but we got there was the prequel comic or the tie-in comic for Revelation at the time, and I think there was also like the information that when Revolution the cartoon was announced, that people were expecting that okay, there might also be a comic tie-in for that show as well, but nobody knew what it would be about. And the writer Tim Sheridan, I had discussed with him a couple times, and also I've been doing some videos with before that on my YouTube channel, where I had contacts from Mattel on people like Rob David and others, so I was able to share things like the animation model image for Elena, and later I also got the exclusive to show for Revolution how the royal physician Mendor would look like in the cartoon. He was a character that was created for the DC Comics, actually, so they pulled it from there. But the writer for the Revolution comic, Tim Sheridan, he had just in one conversation he asked some help on a Brazilian vintage comics, a story that would, if there were any translations available in English, he had found some info online about them, and at the time, He-Man.org was shut down, so the archive pages were no longer available, but there were some discussions from the forums that you could read. So he was asking that, hey, is there any information out there or translations on some of these? And I was able to dig up on some of the older information on the translations that fans had did, Eric de Lima, on the old forums, and then I had in my own just computer hard drive, I found old small scans of the comic that I had saved earlier from He-Man.org. So the internet and everything about it has really been a big resource for me to always just find things and discover. But through those, I was able to help Tim on finding the information on the Brazilian comics, and I think I took the pages and I cleaned up the white level, black level, so it looked a bit crispier, the art, and I also transcribed. I put the English lettering on the speech balloons, so he could just read the Brazilian comic story as is. So, and he was very thankful for that, and he said that, oh, this was just above and beyond. Like I was trying to ask for some help, but you found so much more than I expected. And then I remember there was maybe 6 months after that he hinted at some point that oh, there will be the comic for Revolution, and there might be some little surprise there. And I didn't even think anything at the time. I thought that maybe he was gonna make the reference to the Brazilian comic and something like that. Hey, that's a fun little reference to old media. So but then when the issue 4 came out, the Dark Horse people, they sent me the review copy of it, and I was reading the first panels there that you currently see young Prince Randor and Keldor and baby Panther, and there was the small panel where King Miro in the flashback is talking to some character, and we see a very, very small character next to him, and he mentions that you're the royal historian Eatock. And I was looking at what the heck, is that actually? And then there was the next panel where the character you see it a little bit from behind, and I was like, okay, maybe that'll be just it. Okay, it's a reference, and holy smokes, it's actually using my name, but that maybe we won't see the character in any detail. That we'll just see this very, very small character in a small panel or from behind. And then I on my computer, I turned the page, and it showed the full bigger image with the the character talking to Miro, and I was just I was flabbergasted. And the artist Daniel HDR, he did a fantastic job with all of the comics, and he was going through a whole lot at the time with his family. There were some floods that I think just destroyed things at their home. I remember, but yeah, he did an amazing job with the comic, and he made me look much better than I am in a real person life. So much thanks to both of them.
Excellent. Okay. Vamos a traducir. Obviamente lo voy a resumir un poquito. Obviamente la conexión con Dark Horse viene de obviamente las otras colaboraciones y él obviamente estuvo ahí atento a cuando se empezó la serie de Netflix de Revelations y los cómics Revolution y obviamente cómo fue avanzando todo ese proceso. Él nos comenta que bueno, algunas cosas no le gusta especialmente la serie, pero bueno, es parte de lo que obviamente se fue dando y él estaba esperando que en algún momento se diera alguna oportunidad de continuar o crear un nuevo minicomic basado en la serie. Él tenía como preferencia hubo una referencia que yo obviamente no conozco profundamente la historia, pero como que hay un physician que es como un asistente médico del Palacio de Eternia con una persona helena que sinceramente no sabría decirle. Pero bueno, que eso es lo que él le gustaría o le hubiera gustado ver introducido como en un minicómic. Él nos cuenta que tuvo un momento que hay una persona, Tim, que era uno de los escritores de Revolution, que se puso a investigar con él por unos minicómics brasileros y que él lo ayudó a, obviamente, hacer el research y hacer la traducción al inglés. Obviamente todo esto, él hizo un poco más de research y bueno, se encontró con el problema que He-Man.org lo habían cerrado en ese momento, entonces había un montón de material que él no pudo acceder, pero por suerte había descargado algunas cosas que lo ayudaron a continuar con esa investigación de los minicómics de brasileros. Y bueno, resumiendo, llega un momento que él llega a tener la copia de esos minicómics y que cuando editan el nuevo libro se los mandan a él para que haga un review y que obviamente empezó a hacer el review y después de ver unos cuadros, para su gran sorpresa tuvo, digamos, la gran alegría que habían incluido partes de lo que había hecho, que realmente para él es una cosa grandiosa e inesperada.
Genial. Bueno, hablando de, justo recién nombraste el sitio heman.org, la pregunta que viene ahora, Martín, te doy tiempo que la veas, es la siguiente, justamente en eso que con el paso de los años Yuka se convirtió en un colaborador clave y esencial de lo que son los sitios Battleground, blog y heman.org, dos plataformas que hoy son hace tiempo de las más importantes que brindan información a nivel internacional acerca de Masters of the Universe, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cómo él inició, cómo llegó a ser parte del equipo fundamental de estos dos sitios tan importantes y cuándo se dio cuenta que sus aportes eran bastante importantes y relevantes, ¿no? Dentro de esa comunidad, porque él es uno de los miembros fundamentales hoy en día?
Sí. Yuka, obviously you are a key person in Battleground blog and He-Man.org. So the two platforms basically, like we got all the knowledge of He-Man. So if you want to share with us how your journey began, with them, and then obviously how you realize basically your contributions are so important for the whole community.
So, as I was a member on the He-Man.org forums for many years and just active, being part of the community and always trying to help and find information to people, or if someone asked something that if I had any answers, I wanted to provide it and help them to just learn more about He-Man, even something like about comics, or if something happened in the old cartoon. So on He-Man.org, I also became part of the moderating team, and then I did some of the news articles for the main page. And this was around the time like when the DC comics were coming out, and so any time the new comic solicitations or comic preview came out, or news about something, that I was able to write a short article and post it on the He-Man.org main page. And the Battle Ramp log came slightly later. It was done by Adam McCombs, and he had worked on it on his own. He focused a lot on the toys, the vintage toys, and the history on all of that. So he started making the articles where he would try and look up as much information on the toy side, maybe interviews from Mark Taylor or info from panels. So he found out that Mark Taylor had been to German Grayskull convention in 2013, and they had shown maybe some early images there, and it funny enough, it was some of the photos that I took when I was there at the convention as a guest, and I had talked with Mark, who was a lovely person, and his wife Rebecca. I had the awesomest time with them there, and so I noticed that Adam had found the information, and I think I sent him a bit better version of the photos, nicer quality. And then I also suggested that, hey, you talked about the toy design or toy history here, but maybe you can also include more information about the filmation history or something from the Minicomics. And I kept sending him some information that, hey, you could mention this, or you could include this, and here's I found this image concept art, or this document image, and I kept sending Adam all of these, and at some point he was like, okay, I'll bring you aboard, and you can also write articles on Battle Ramp log. So I've done some articles and interviews over there. I've compiled the information on like Mark Taylor's vision for He-Man that was like before the Don Gluth Minicomics. Something that just hasn't been maybe documented all that much. So I was looking through all these like old audio interviews or videos from panels and all of this stuff, and gathering all that information. And I've also done interviews. The current there was the Netflix the logo creator Bill Concannon, who did the logo design for the Masters of the Universe for Revolution, and the CGI cartoon that is also basically the same logo basis that will be in the new movie. And I also did an interview with the Golden Book writer Jack C. Harris, because I was trying to find more information about something like Goatman, and how did he like came to be in the story, The Secret of the Dragon's Egg. So I've been there like a small partner to Adam on the Battle Ramp blog, and then later, when it was time that He-Man.org would make a comeback, Adam was like doing a whole lot of work on that, and then I was able to also join him in the team, and we have expanded. So we have Colt Crane and Ben Massa, who's behind the Orcos Keep Facebook, and latest is Robert, who's done sections on the DreamWorks She-Ra for the site. So we post on currently Hima.org the toy news and movie updates and just anything and everything, and we also have the Grayskull weekly, where we have some exclusives from Dark Horse sometimes, either the cover images or interviewing people. Like I did interview with the artist Riley Brown, who will be the illustrator for the issue 5 onward for the Dark Horse He-Man comic, as the current one with Freddie E. Williams. His issue is on the 4th, and then Riley starts on the 5th. So and Colt Crane is doing a whole lot of interviews as well. So be on the lookout for those.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, obviously, perdón. Obviamente él empezó con, digamos, en He-Man.org siendo un miembro activo, parte de la comunidad, y contestando y ayudando a gente a entender o buscar respuestas a preguntas en general. Y poco a poco, bueno, obviamente se fue metiendo y bueno, empezó a buscar más información, que lo elevó a ser moderador del website, y obviamente colaborando con DC Comics y artículos, y obviamente parte, especialmente ahora, donde ponen novedades sobre noticias y cosas del mundo de He-Man, eso en la parte de He-Man.org. Pero para Battleground, él se puso en contacto con una persona, Adam McCombs, y que ese site se dedica más a lo que son los juguetes, la investigación de los juguetes, cómo se hicieron, prototipos y todo eso. Tuvo suerte de ir a una convención en Alemania en el 2013, donde conoció personalmente a Mark Taylor y a Rebecca, y bueno, ahí tomó fotos, pudo entrevistarlo, tener más información, hacerle preguntas, y obviamente todo eso lo pudo volcar al website. Y también para resumirlo en general, obviamente él está ligado a muchísima gente, muchísimos nombres, donde aparece algo nuevo, como digamos, logos, como el logo de Netflix o de la película. Él se acerca a esa gente para tratar de obtener información, y bueno, ni bien tiene algo que pueda publicarlo, va y lo publica en todos los sitios. O sea que está activamente poniendo información para la comunidad cuando la oportunidad lo merece.
Y se lo agradecemos, decirle.
Definitivamente.
Yuka, we say obviously thank you very much for all this work you're doing, because obviously we can get all this information through you, and like I said, it's very important. So yeah, we really appreciate it.
Y decirle que para no abusarnos ni extendernos tanto en el tiempo de la entrevista como habíamos planificado, seguiríamos hablando un montón de cosas que él hizo, pero vamos a pasar un poco a la actualidad, que es sí, lo que hoy está en boga, que es la película, ¿no? Así que vamos a hacer alguna preguntita acerca de la película, decirle.
Ok, bueno.
Sí, pero antes de eso, cortita, justo que está hablando de estos He-Man.org y estos sitios, que él brevemente diga qué le parece, cuál es hoy la importancia de que haya hoy tantos medios referidos a esto, ¿no? Canales de YouTube, páginas de Facebook, blogs, cuando solamente antes existía muy poca información, ¿no? Como era He-Man.org, por ejemplo. Que hoy haya tantos medios, si esto le parece que está bueno, que es beneficioso para promocionar más todo este mundo, ¿no?
Okay. You got conscious of time, because obviously we can be talking forever about all these things, because it's our passion. What we're going to do is basically we're going to jump to close to the end with some, what's happening at the moment, at the present. But before that, what's your opinion in general about, used to be only He-Man.org at some point, but now with so many YouTube channels, so many webs, a lot of fun. Do you like that? Like having more access or more people basically searching and putting information, on internet, basically.
Promoviendo, ¿no?
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those interesting things that I personally, because I've been in the fandom and especially online fandom for so long, so there have been the moments where it felt like it was a smaller group of people who were interested and talking about He-Man or collecting the classics line or in anything that was available at the time. So when the Origins line came and they made it available in retail, and then they had the 2 cartoon shows, so there have been an influx of more fans discovering He-Man, and especially now with the movie, I think that has really just blown it up even more. So now on YouTube especially, you can find more people making videos about He-Man and trying maybe to talk about some history or their reactions or anything. So I really like that there are more people talking about He-Man, and I really hope that they will discover sites like Battleground blog or He-Man.org if they want to talk about or make a video about something like He-Man history, because there are some videos out there where people they may have done the research a bit fast, so they get some mistakes in there, and it's just it's human nature. Like it happens. There's a whole lot of information out there, so that's why I'm also trying to make my own videos more currently. So, and I always try and use the actual images, no AI generated image of something that never happened, and or if there's a quote from an interview that I can use from the official people, Mattel or Mark Taylor, or just anyone who's done the work. So it's a great time to be a He-Man fan, and I look forward to the movie, and it's yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sí, obviamente él piensa que el tema de que haya más gente online está bueno. Obviamente hubo un cambio desde cuando era un grupo pequeño, solamente existía dos lugares principales para información, pero bueno, cuando la línea Origins salió, él sintió que obviamente habiendo más gente accediendo a las figuras, especialmente en retail y todo eso, era más fácil, y obviamente los dos cartoons que salieron en Netflix ayudaron a que haya más fanáticos, digamos, de He-Man. También le parece bueno que haya más canales en YouTube y todo eso, pero lo que dice es que lo que no le gusta es cuando gente usa o crea contenido con falta de información y no hacen la búsqueda o el research que corresponde para hacer los videos, y tampoco le gusta el uso de inteligencia artificial para generar imágenes que nunca existieron. Él dice que hoy en día aprovecha este momento para poner más videos en su canal, pero siempre usando información precisa y quotes o, digamos, cosas que él sacó de Mark Taylor, por ejemplo, que obviamente es una afirmación, es la palabra mayor para publicar cosas. Y destaca que obviamente es un muy buen momento para ser un fan de He-Man, porque especialmente ahora que van a lanzar la película.
Bueno, justamente para meternos en la actualidad, y evidentemente que este es el tema fundamental hoy en día, si nos puede dar, antes de meternos en lo que él estuvo investigando puntualmente acerca de la película, ¿cuál es su sensación, las expectativas que tiene con la película después de haber visto el tráiler, ¿no? ¿Cómo se siente? ¿Entusiasmado? ¿Tiene miedo de determinadas cosas?
Okay, you guys just going to obviously to the present and discuss about the movie. Obviously, we would like to expand on your research and everything, but first of all, your sensations from the trailer. You know what you're expecting, what you think. If you are afraid of anything. So yeah, just basically an open. You know how you feel about all this, basically.
I'm excited and looking forward to the movie. I knew at some point that it won't be something that is very specific to certain older fans. So I mean, there will be certain elements that will be for modern audiences, and currently I think many people are focusing a lot maybe on the Earth element, that how much of that might be in it, but from all that I've seen and heard about it, I think it'll be very, the filmmakers have done a whole lot of work and being using so much of the resources and materials that they have, so it won't be anything like the Dolph Lundgren movie. And I don't think that the Earth element will be too much of a distraction. It might be at the very start of the movie, but I mean, most of it will be on Eternia. And I mean, we've seen the toy designs now, and we've seen how there are some statues that were at the toy fair, and so there are a whole lot of details in the costumes, and they are you recognize them as the characters. We've seen there are some older concept art and something when they were trying to do the movie in like 2009 or 2013 or whenever, and there are some really drastic differences that how someone like Adam might look in a totally dark costume, or how Skeletor might have some gold looking mask as a face. And so I think that it's been a long journey to get here, but the movie is looking very good so far. Like the design on the power sword and just costumes, and like Trapjaw looks awesome, and I do like the He-Man costume, and I really like that they gave the cross symbol. For example, I was thinking that they might go with the H logo that was on Revelation cartoon, or from the original Battle Armor design, but I'm happy that they got the cross, so it's more vintage styled. So it's I'm looking forward to it.
Perfecto. Okay, nos dice que bueno, está obviamente esperando la película, excitado, que sería como bien, como quiere que llegue. Obviamente escucha que hay comentarios que la gente está preocupada por el elemento de alguna parte de la película que va a pasar en el planeta Tierra, pero él sabe que los productores, el director hicieron mucho research de cosas, obviamente de He-Man como corresponde, utilizando materiales que de los orígenes del canon, y que él cree que no va a ser nada parecido a lo que fue la del 87, que va a ser totalmente, como que aprendieron la lección, entre comillas, y que no, si hay algo de la Tierra va a ser un poquito para que obviamente meter una historia, introducirlo de alguna manera, hacer una conexión. Obviamente también dice que basado en lo que ve en el Toy Fair, o lo que vio en el Toy Fair, los juguetes, los diseños, los trajes, obviamente toma en consideración que los orígenes del canon, y que obviamente eso le da la sensación que está muy bien orientada. Le gusta mucho, destaca el tema de la cruz en He-Man, especialmente porque eso obviamente es una conexión directa, y obviamente el logo, que está obviamente basado, inspirado con lo de Battleground, el website que participa. Así que, no, en general contento y esperando con ansias que el momento llegue de la película.
Gracias, Martín, gracias. Yo tengo una consulta breve antes que procedamos y sigamos con el tema que vamos aquí, que vamos entrando en terreno de la película. Y a esto quería yo tener una apreciación de Yuka. Y mi pregunta sería, con la riqueza de elementos que hay en el contexto Masters of Universe, ¿consideraría él que podamos ver o estemos presenciando el inicio de una trilogía? ¿O considera él que será suficiente solamente esta película para abordar el tema Masters of Universe? Gracias, Martín.
Okay. Yuka, Fisto is asking, taking in consideration all the elements, all the history of, the canon of Master of the Universe, do you believe there is enough material and if there is enough traction to do, like, for example, a trilogy of He-Man, or you think this potentially will be only one movie? What are your considerations about it?
I think that there's potential if the movie is successful enough that there would be a second movie. I do think that obviously Mattel and everyone will probably want to make more movies to make more money, but it's like the trailer views already are showing that there is a whole lot of interest. I mean, it's what it was like over 30 million views on YouTube on the official Amazon MGM channel. So there's a whole lot of hype and there's a whole lot of interest for the movie. So if that is something that will also be that people will go to the theaters to see it, and obviously when it'll be here in Finland, I'll go see it. But if the movie is successful enough, then yes, that they will. I do think that Mattel, they will pursue on making a sequel for it, and I hope that it will be enough success that they will make another movie. And it's something I've said in old podcasts during these decades, that whenever a movie will get made, because it was such a long time just hoping that, hey, hopefully it will get made. We don't know. There were so many false starts and everything, but that when a movie will get made, that it'll be successful enough that they will also see it as a great potential, that, hey, we will have maybe a toy line that is focused for the movie aspect, but also we can have something like a vintage or classics type of a toy line, or we can have a cartoon here, or we can have comics, just more material overall. So the movie is carrying a lot of the potential, and I hope that it will reach a good success.
Okay, excelente. Okay, sí, nos dice Fisto que él piensa que basado en por ejemplo, en los reviews del trailer, las visualizaciones del trailer, si la película tiene suceso, obviamente Mattel tiene material y seguramente con el simple objetivo de generar más dinero va a tratar de hacer una secuela, pero todo depende obviamente en el suceso, si la gente lo acompaña, si va al cine, si obviamente genera suficiente y obviamente recuperan la inversión y que el riesgo del negocio sea suficiente, ¿no? Y que obviamente también eso va acompañado con el suceso de líneas de juguetes y cómo continúa, porque es un paquete en general lo que haría a que Mattel potencialmente haga una secuela. Él considera que sí y que espera que sí, y que bueno, obviamente él va a ir al cine a verla en Finlandia, así que bueno, espera que todo el mundo, si todos ponemos nuestro granito de arena y nos gusta suficiente, creo que es una buena oportunidad, ¿no?
Bueno, Martín, sé que esta no es una pregunta que es de las que teníamos planeadas, por eso mientras la voy formulando, te voy a dar tiempo para que la vayas vos también pensando en hacerse a Yuka, porque me parece muy importante su opinión. Teniendo en cuenta de que Yuka es muy fanático de la serie animada de 2000X, donde se tomó más seriamente la historia de cada personaje comparándola con Filmation, ¿no? 2000X fue una serie animada más seria, donde se profundizó en la historia de cada personaje, etc. Teniendo en cuenta que ahora sabemos que esta nueva película va a tener tintes de comedia en algún momento, si eso le da una especie de temor cuando escucha el tema de que va a tener comedia, si tiene temor a que sea en exceso esa comedia que tenga la película y termina siendo más graciosa que una película, digamos, nunca va a ser seria en su totalidad, pero si tiene ese temor cuando hablan de comedia, que eso sea en exceso y no termine siendo lo que él esperaba, ¿no?
Okay, sí. Yuka, Gonzalo is asking, like, obviously you are, you love the 2000X series, like basically where each character of human is like more deeply explored, and obviously they it's like a more serious version, if you compare that with Filmation, of course. If you think, like in the movie, if they go to an extreme, like it's more funny moments, like it's serious moments, or taking, the movie away from, like will be in context, basically. You go to, like, I don't know, like the Barbie movie, like, the face, instead to concentrate the movie, they do funny gags and everything. Do you think
Comedia, digamos, ¿no?
Yeah.
Comedy.
That will affect, how you think the movie can go and in the fans, for example? Or what's your thoughts about this?
I hope that the approach with the Masters of the Universe movie, that it will have a balance with the comedic aspects and the more serious nature of the storytelling. I don't think or hope that they will break any fourth wall, if you will. My example might be that if there is the humor or some comedic elements, that it might be similar to how Guardians of the Galaxy has some humor elements where the characters do something which will be a more lighthearted, even if they are in a big battle scene or something. So it's if they will make some references, I think many have looked at the trailer and think that, well, there's the meme reference to the Laughing Adam from the Non-Blondes parody music video, and it might be in a sort of reference. It's hard to know because it's just the visuals that we've seen. We haven't seen the actual scene in the movie. I think that it's a delicate balance, because we've seen some in even the modern comics where they make some references where, I think in the DC Comics Eternity War, there was like during a battle where Catra and Scorpia were attacking She-Ra in the desert near Temple of the Sun, and there's like a Scorpia making some joke that who is this She-Ra character, He-Man's girlfriend, like. So I don't know if there will be anything like that in the movie. I hope that if they make it, that those types of jokes, that they won't go too far, because I've always the way I look at the world of Eternia and all that, the names are there, and the characters and everything, the world setting, it is what it is. Like, it might be funny, like as a adult looking at this brand, that there's character that named Ram Man or Fisto, but in the actual world they are just their names. Like there's nothing inherently funny about it or anything like that. So I do hope that if they make any jokes, that it won't be too fourth wall breaking, but something that can be a little jab to acknowledge something, but not too far. That's what I hope.
Yeah, okay. Es lo que piensa que, bueno, obviamente potencialmente puede ser como hicieron con los Guardianes de la Galaxia, que existan algunas bromas metidas ahí que, bueno, considera que hasta cierto punto estaría bien. Espera que no se pasen del otro lado y que profundicen más en la historia y que no traten de hacer nada más allá de lo que sería normalmente aceptado. Él dice que, por ejemplo, hay como referencia que en uno de los cómics que hay una broma que se hizo que están Catra y Scorpia peleando contra She-Ra y como que la mencionan como la novia de He-Man en vez de la hermana, o sea, es como una referencia cómica. Pero bueno, que él piensa que o espera que no se pasen de línea, pero bueno, algo va a haber y que sí, mientras mantenga la historia sería aceptable y razonable que pongan algunos gags en medio de la película.
Perfecto.
Byron, vamos a entrar en tema de su canal de YouTube y esta investigación que estuvo haciendo acerca del alfabeto eterniano. A medida que ponemos imágenes, Martín, que él vaya comentando acerca de... Sí, igual presentalo a vos la pregunta, Byron.
Bueno, gracias, Gonzalo. Yuka, hemos visto con mucha atención en tu canal Tun Yuka que has estado haciendo esta investigación minuciosa respecto a lo que es la tipografía o escritura eterniana. Y en ese contexto nos gustaría pues que nos cuentes cómo empezó el tema de la investigación de la tipografía y obviamente fuiste encontrando los elementos que permitieron que pudieras traducir, por así decirlo, las escrituras que estaban en el corredor central de Eternia y obviamente pues dar a conocer los nombres de las estatuas que aparecieron en el tráiler, que fue, a mi pensar y mi perspectiva, la primer duda que me generó al ver el tráiler fue ver estas estatuas y pensando, what the heck, ¿qué pasó aquí? ¿Quiénes son? Entonces, primero, gracias por esta investigación que realmente nos toma a nosotros a bien, porque pues nos sentimos bastante pues, interesados en tu trabajo. Siempre lo hemos hecho y invitamos a nuestros amigos a que puedan ver el canal de Yuka, que realmente está lleno de mucha información muy, muy, muy importante y muy relevante. Martín, gracias.
Para poner en contexto un poco a Martín, porque le estamos haciendo una pregunta que no la tenía él, creo que planeada. Cuando, Mattel presentó el logo de Masters of the Universe de la película en diferentes idiomas de varios países e incluyó el idioma eterniano, las letras del alfabeto eterniano que se va a utilizar en la película, y que es y que Yuka, utilizando estas pistas, que esto significa Masters of the Universe, pues sacando que el símbolo que cada letra significa en nuestro abecedario, y pudo saber el nombre de las estatuas que aparecen en el tráiler de la película, que todas tienen su nombre en el pie de las estatuas, son los reyes de Eternia. Y ahora vamos a mostrar cómo él hizo un video descubriendo, a medida de tomando en cuenta este logo, sacó el nombre de descubrió el nombre de quiénes son todas las estatuas que aparecen en la película. Que nos cuente un poco acerca de cómo fue ese procedimiento de investigación, ¿no? Del alfabeto.
Bueno, dijiste lo mismo que yo, solo que en argentino.
Sí, pero Martín no estaba hablando.
Me lo tradujo al bonaerense. Yuka, obviously you did research using this logo, the characters of the Eternian language. to discover the monuments and the statues, names, and the kings of Eternia. So yeah, if you can tell us the process, and obviously thank you very much for doing that, because that helped us to understand a little better everything. So yeah, if you can tell us about the process, how you did it, anything you want to share with us.
Well, that was one of those really just interesting and fun topics that we had gotten the logo reveal from the Amazon YouTube channel, and from they showed the logo in different international languages, and then the last one was the symbols that we see here, which basically are just the in English language, but just every letter is replaced with a symbol. So before the trailer came out that showed the full shots of the statues, there were some drone footage leaked of when they were shooting the movie, and we see the circular platform where you had images of characters like Zodak from 2000X and Perfuma and Bo and Netosa, and in the circular platform there were also these symbols, which was something that I at the time didn't think much of, but after we had gotten the logo reveal, and there was my friend Coltrane had noticed that they were basically like the symbols for just the English letters, and there was the He-Man's power sword for the movie, which was shown at San Diego Comic-Con, and that also had like some of the symbols which translated as Eternia based on these, and but the statues were something that I don't think anyone had really looked at before. We had seen the photos of the area, but there were like no actual statues around it. There was only the broken head statue lying on the floor next to them. So I looked at the symbols, and I started to try and just decipher them, that hey, which symbol correlates with which letter, and I have the whole video where I explain my process, that I started looking at the shortest name there and saw that okay, it spells basically Miro. I even forgot at the time when I was making that the letter O was already in the Masters of the Universe logo, but I had completely forgotten it when I was so focused on the symbols, and I was like, okay, M-I-R, well, that spells Miro, so okay, we got one name down, and then going from that to others, and here was the Devon, which is the classics real name for King Grayskull. There was like, I think the like A letter and then the N letter, but there was no D letter, but it was easy to think that okay, that name means that one here. And for Randor, it was you can't see all the letters because there's like the lamp posts and all the debris around it, but it was around that time when I was looking at this that okay, it's like Randor, Miro, and other kings of Eternia, which many people, when they saw the full trailer, I mean, you see the statues, so you can basically think that okay, these guys might be kings or of something, because they have crowns on their head, and they look very regal and royal. I mean, in the 2002 cartoon, for example, the royal courtyard, I mean, they had statues of elders, but they obviously look a bit different. So here it was one of those moments that okay, these are names of the past kings, and the Eldon name was something that I had when I was trying to decipher which letters were which. I remember that in the She-Ra cartoon, we had the episode with the King Miro's journey that showed portraits of past kings. So they had mentioned King Eldon. So it's a really fun reference to Filmation story aspects or lore. And I really like that the movie is doing these types of pull references and pullbacks to the existing material. So, and basically, there around the platform, there's 6 kings, and it might be that they are meant to be a bloodline. That part is not sure at this point. I mean, we do know that King Randor and Miro are related, so it would make sense that then there's Miro's father and grandfather and all the way to King Grayskull. So it would mean that Adam is a descendant of King Grayskull. So it would be those elements that there's the bloodline, which was in 2002 cartoon. So. But yeah, it was really fun to just look at them, and I tried to explain my thought process in the video, and I've gotten some comments from people that they liked it, that I basically just showed how I came to these conclusions, even if there were some errors in the way.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, esta va a estar muy fácil de traducir porque ahí ustedes fueron mostrando las imágenes, pero obviamente tomando en base el logo de la película que encontró en el canal de Amazon, más la descripción en la espada que ahí también Gonzalo mostró, él con un amigo que no recuerdo el nombre que mencionó, se puso a investigar y tratar de descifrar usando esos logos, y lo gracioso que cuenta él es que él empieza usando la espada y después le hace clic y dice, hay más letras en el logo. Entonces ahí empezó a trabajar con esto, y bueno, empezó a conectar los dots, y obviamente basándose en los monumentos, lo que pudo ver, arma esa línea de sangre que conecta básicamente a Adam con King Grayskull, y que obviamente, bueno, ahí también las figuras pueden ver las letras, y bueno, es un buen toque. Y él destaca que bueno que los productores de la película decidieron hacer este guiño a Filmation utilizando los reyes y utilizando esos cuadros que se ven, esos retratos de los reyes de Eternia. Pero bueno, obviamente también dice que en su canal hay un video donde explica todo este proceso, así que si lo quieren ver, ahí profundiza más, y que claro, los comentarios que ha recibido son muy positivos al respecto.
Sí, decirle obviamente que ese video lo compartimos en nuestras plataformas de Eternianos, el video de Yuka, para que todos lo vean, y acá abajo decirle que estamos poniendo su canal de YouTube para que lo puedan ir a ver, ese video en el canal de Yuka.
Yuka, Gonzalo saying obviously we share your video around in our platform, but also we put in the link to the people they watch it, so they can go and see it also, because again, this is a excellent, great work from you, and yeah, we really again appreciate it. Yeah, it's very, very nice to see this.
Much appreciated. I had also contact from another YouTuber, Mega J Retro, who made a reaction video to the statues video, which was very, he said very, very nice things about me, and he was able to go to the toy fair, and he has taken some photos of the statues that were of the Skeletor and He-Man there, and it's interesting that on He-Man's harness, around the symbol chest, there is a more actually of the Eternian symbols. They are carved very small, and I'm in the process of trying to decipher those as well, and I'll probably make some video about it in the future when I get it fully translated. I'm not sure if it might be a project together with Mega J or if it'll be two different videos, but we shall see.
Okay, excellent. And what he's saying, like, obviously there is good reactions about, and say thank you for. Dice muchas gracias por. Ya me empieza a fallar el cerebro. Nos dice muchas gracias por haber compartido el video con otros. Tuvo otra vez buenas reacciones y recibió información de que obviamente en las estatuas que estaban en el Toy Fair también hay más inscripciones, que está trabajando al respecto y que bueno, considera que va a seguir investigando a ver si puede obviamente poner más caracteres y descubrir más cosas. Yuka, there is another opportunity when you complete the alphabet for another book. Maybe you can write it in Eternian language. That could be very, very cool.
Martín, hablando de estas estatuas, justamente lo que mencionaba, este fin de semana en la Toy Fair, en el stand de Mattel, apareció en el decorado, llevaron una nueva estatua que no es ninguna de estas 6 que está acá, y esa estatua tenía en sus manos la espada que usó Dolph Lundgren en la película de 1987, teniendo en cuenta de que no es ninguno de estos 6 reyes que vamos a ver acá en el tráiler de la película. ¿Quién considera que puede ser esa estatua que llevó Mattel el otro día a la Toy Fair?
Y con esa espada.
Con esa espada, la película de 1987.
In the Toy Fair, they displayed another statue, one like it was carrying the sword of the movie in 1987. So it's now one of the statues, like the 6 on this image. Do you know that statue belongs to, or you have any idea, or you're doing some research about it?
I'm just as clueless as everyone else. Obviously, it's a statue they made for the Toy Fair. It's a different statue from the ones in the trailer. The statue at the Toy Fair has a beard and a different haircut, and the crown, and the sword. Yes, it's obviously the 87 movie sword, which is a really awesome reference that they made for anyone who attended the Toy Fair. But it's a completely different statue that is not in the, at least the movie trailer that we've seen. So I'm not sure if it was done just for the promotional purposes at the Toy Fair, because in the trailer we have characters, and the ones that have swords is basically King Randor with the more like a vintage or classics styled power sword, and then King Grayskull has also a sword. He's resting his hands on it, but the sword design is more generic. I think it's I don't think that's any reference to an existing sword. I remember someone suggesting maybe it could be the Filmation, the Masks of Power episode that had the Sword of the Ancients, but it's hard to see the sword in the trailer. I don't think has the same details that the one cartoon episode had, and so, but it's a we'll hopefully get to learn more about the Toy Fair statue, if that has any relevance to the movie itself, if there will be a statue somewhere, just a regular size in a hallway that has that same face and crown and beard, and will have that 87 movie sort. But I'm kind of doubting that they will have that kind of a movie reference in the new movie. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, okay. Él nos cuenta que en su opinión, bueno, obviamente esta estatua sí está al tanto y que obviamente está muy bueno que hayan hecho esa referencia a la película de 1987 con la espada. Considera porque obviamente la corona, el corte de pelo y la espada misma, obviamente no cree que haya conexión con la película hasta el momento, pero bueno, si en algún momento existe va a investigar, pero no le encuentra relación a este momento. También dice que bueno, hubo basado en algún episodio de Filmation, pensó si había una conexión con esa espada con la que usó por ejemplo Random, pero no la encuentra, o sea que está atento, pero hasta el momento en su opinión no puede conectarla con la película en sí.
No está relacionado.
Perfecto. Bueno, Byron, ¿querés hacer alguna otra pregunta vos? Y si no, hacemos unas que quedaron del público y ya lo vamos despidiendo, lo podemos ir liberando a Yuka, ya tenemos 2 horas y media de vivo.
Vamos a ver qué dicen nuestros amigos, vamos a ver qué opinión nos dan nuestros amigos, si tienen alguna consulta para Yuka. Y aquí nos está escribiendo
Midnight Zone.
Midnight Zone.
Yeah. So Yuka, what we're going to do before to wrap, because obviously 2 hours and a half. There will be some questions there, like you can go for them basically.
Well, currently Mattel are making at least the toys based on the 2000X cartoon designs, which is awesome. I'm not sure if they will make any cartoon continuation or even comics. The comic announcements that we've gotten mostly seem to be surrounded by the movie related topics. They will always want to do products that are at least the stories I think are more focused on what is the current trend at the time or currently topical that they have. So the last time that they made any 2000X references in the comics basically were in the maybe DC comics, the multiverse. They had an element there for the 2000X, but I think that they won't make any direct continuation for the show, even though it would be awesome. But I mean, we've already lost, like, Dean Stephan has passed away, Larry DiTilio has passed away, so we don't have the story editor or some of the writers. Michael Reeves, the voice actor for Orko and Mechanic, Gabe Kauth, also sadly passed away in a driving motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
So even if they try to make new animation, it really wouldn't be the same. So it's if they make any new animation for He-Man, it would be fun that they could have like many different canon little aspects, or if they have a completely new story that they will pull information from 2000X, I think that is the closest one we'll get. But right now the toys that Mattel are making, so they are the closest one that anything that is directly with 2000X. It's just my opinion. I don't have any insider info on that, sadly. But
Okay.
it would be awesome if they could make more 2000X stories. I mean, if the movie is success, then they'll make more comics. And I mean, they had the Masterverse comic as well at some point, where they had those little vignette stories. There was one with the Batros and a more horror story, and then they had like the Sergio Aragones more humorous story. So it would be awesome if they could make more of those.
Ok, lo que nos dice que obviamente le encanta que Mattel haya lanzado las figuras de 2000X, que eso es un buen guiño. Considera que lo ve difícil en este momento que se continúe con la historia de los cartones, le encantaría, pero siendo el caso que lo hicieran, obviamente parte del plantel original, los escritores y algunas personas que participaron en el proyecto ya no están con nosotros, que fallecieron. Pero bueno, él piensa que si la película tiene suceso, quizás Mattel se anime, le encantaría, pero en este momento piensa que no.
Perfecto, muchas gracias. No sé si habrá alguna otra pregunta del público, Gonzalo.
Una más al azar, decirle porque ya es muy tarde. Yo también me tengo que ir a trabajar.
Okay, so we will have the last one, Yuka. Last question. So they choosing one from many we have.
No, esta es la misma.
Esta es la misma.
Sí.
Si está en castellano se la traduzco, no te hagas problema.
Ahí está.
Okay.
An interesting question.
Gracias, Javi.
It's very hard to see. Like the trailer is only like a little over 2 minutes long, so they are. We've seen references to vintage toys on how the weapons are, at least, and as far as story goes, it pulls most likely from Filmation elements on many parts, because Filmation is the global phenomenon that has been the one unifying thing that people from Finland to Australia to South America have seen and remember most. So it's depends on what obviously it's going to be a completely new story, so it's going to be its own canon in that aspect, but it will pull from old materials, and it's going to be interesting how will they approach these things. For example, if we think of the Revolution, they also did use old materials, but sometimes they gave them completely new context. So something like 2000X Eternia, which were underground world for the lizard folk and Spalian bat folk, and so in the Revolution cartoon it became their version of hell. So I think the movie may use something like that we will see them use a name from old material, and it will be obviously something that we will recognize that, hey, this is from the old stuff. But it's 50-60 situation that is it completely new context around it, or is it something more specific, because it just depends what will serve their story purposes. So it's one of those that will be interesting to see, because I think the trailer also showed how close Castle Grayskull is to the royal palace. Now, there are some examples in old German cartoon where Castle Grayskull is in a distance where you can see the royal palace of Eternia in the background, and also the Revolution comic had Miro standing at the balcony at Royal Palace, and you can see Castle Grayskull in the background. So it's like that the characters can visually see it without using something like binoculars. So it's a new take for the movie, and we will have to see how they will use it in this story. But I'm hoping that they will use a lot of old material, basing that as the the basis for the movie, that they are building the new story on top of it, because it's going to be something that hopefully will appeal to old fans, that it's going to be so I'm not sure how to say it, but so it won't feel too disjointed or too new adventures type thing where it feels foreign. That's how I view it.
Okay, very good. Bueno, él piensa que sí, obviamente hay algunos elementos que el trailer nos conecta con, obviamente, algunas cosas basadas en los cánones de MOTU. Nos dio un ejemplo rápido que en algunos cómics de alemanes existe que la visualización del castillo de Grayskull con el palacio de Eternia están cerca. Hay muchas referencias y que obviamente son homenajes que considera que van a aparecer porque obviamente, como dijo anteriormente, hubo investigación, así que considera que sí, que es una posibilidad y que bueno, le encantaría que así sea.
Excelente. Bueno, amigos, 2 horas 40 de vivo creo que ya es suficiente. Es tarde también para Yuka en Finlandia. Yo también tengo que ir urgente, así que creo que igual abarcamos un montón de temas y quedaron cosas por hablar. Será en otra oportunidad, seguro, si Yuka tiene ganas de volver y la ha pasado bien. Así que por mi parte, amigos, creo que estamos listos. Que ya con eso está bien. Decirle a Yuka que le agradecemos un montón, que hace mucho tiempo queríamos tenerlo, así que fue un placer tenerlo con nosotros en el canal.
Okay. Yuka, 2 hours 40, that was amazing. A lot of context, like I said, really, you explained many things. Like we would like to, do more, but obviously everyone has a life too. We really appreciated. You're one of the persons we were looking always to have you in this show, and really was a pleasure to have your presence.
Byron, ¿quieres decir algo también para
me robaste las palabras, Gonzalo, pero Yuka, muchísimas gracias por haber estado con nosotros. Nos tomó mucho tiempo hacer esto posible, pero gracias a tu voluntad de estar con nosotros, y creo que fue tu primera experiencia en Latinoamérica y ya sabes que esta es tu casa y siempre bienvenido.
Okay. Yuka, fit to say, yes, again, thank you very much we were looking again for this experience, and welcome to the Latin American fandom, and like I say, every time you're welcome to be here.
Bueno, decirle si quiere despedirse con alguna palabra a él y que se quede 2 minutitos en backstage, que nos despedimos ahí finalmente. Pero bueno, que se despida él de todos y cortamos el vivo.
Okay.
Gracias a vos,
if you wanted to say anything to everyone, to say goodbye, and then you stay for 1 minute in the background, so we can wrap up the transmission.
Just want to say really big thank you for inviting me, and this has been a lot of fun, and was always grateful to be in these different podcasts, and thank you for making the time to suit the different time zone differences. Hopefully people will be excited for the movie, and they will look forward to the upcoming comics and cartoon stuff and toys, and follow me on my YouTube channel, Tunjuka, and there will be a link for the unofficial book for 2002 cartoon, and there's going to be news and articles over at pima.org, and it's I thank you everyone, and as they say in the movie, good journey.
Muchas gracias a todos los que estuvieron conectados. Gracias por sus comentarios, y a los que lo quieren ver en diferido, que lo disfruten, dejen sus preguntas también, qué les pareció el vivo. Muchísimas gracias, Martín, también por acompañarnos. Y bueno, ya saben, suscríbanse al canal los que no están suscriptos. Vamos a tener también muchos más invitados, muchos más videos así especiales para ustedes, así que esperemos que lo hayan disfrutado. Gracias a todos. Bye bye.
Hasta luego.